Today, I want to talk about how my life was ruled by logic until I opened myself up to be able to manifest. And there's nothing wrong with logic. It's a really great tool. Like, think of it like a hammer. But there's sometimes you need a screwdriver. And if you just go around trying to fix everything with a hammer and bashing things up, it's maybe not the most elegant way to get things done, or the most efficient way, or sometimes totally impossible to get things done that way. So I want to break this down in a very simple and basic way, that what we're trying to do with all of these practices is manage our state. That when a situation arises, we are still deciding what energy we're radiating, what state we're holding. There's one I really love, Alex Hermosi, and he talks about one of the best skills that someone can have is being able to be in a great mood regardless of the reason why. And I want to throw my own distinction there. This isn't like a projection where we're actually in a bad mood and we're like pretending that we're in a good mood. It's an internal change. It's not like, oh, I'm saying the right things, but inside I'm frustrated. And don't get me wrong, if you say the right things, it can help you get to that state. But this reminds me, this reminds me when I was really, really young. And I would go to church for a bit, and this just happened to be my church. This isn't the experience of the majority of churches, but it turned me off when I was young because I could feel that difference between what was being said and the energy behind it. It felt like this kind of like charade or like wearing a mask. So that's not what we're talking about here, is where you pretend, but deep down you're just feeding all these thoughts that are putting you in a bad state, or in a lower state, or in a judgmental or angry state. It's really deciding that these things that maybe logically, or maybe we have a habit of making something be important when really it's not. And what's more important is us being able to be in a great mood, is us being able to manage our energy and radiate the energy that is conducive to the results that we want. And that helps us take those actions. Like, think of a time where you were really angry and clouded with anger. And in that state, it is literally impossible to make a decision from, how do I want to word that a certain way. I have it in my head. Let's say there's just a scale of like where you are on the spectrum of who you want to be. And this is where you need to be vibrating in order to be that energy. Well, when you're angry, you're vibrating here, and you can't even see the decisions from here, right? Maybe you just need to get frustrated in order to get to like melancholy in order to get to the state that's in alignment with what it is that you want to manifest. So that skill of managing your state allows you to literally see the world in a different way, allows you to see and be present for opportunities when they arise. If you're trying to manifest a partner, being in that state allows you to actually connect, instead of you making a decision where you don't bump into each other, or your energy just being like a magnet, but not in the way of pulling them in, but in a magnet repelling them away. So just the skill of managing that state. And how we do that is get really honest with ourselves. Like, one thing that I really hold on to is I just look at my results. And if I don't have the results of my vision, then I know I'm not in alignment with it yet. And that's all okay. And that's not going to change, because as you grow more and more and more and more, you have bigger dreams, and there's always going to be parts that you're not in alignment with. So it's just giving me very, very valuable and honest information. And that allows me to not build these stories to get in the way from me seeing the truth. Because if I don't know where I am, how am I going to direct myself to where I want to go? If I'm in Chicago, but I'm telling myself I'm in Texas, That's going to be a really, really, really hard journey if I want to get to Florida. Because I'm going to be looking at a map from Chicago. Sorry, I'm going to be looking at a map from Texas to Florida and taking all these turns that don't make sense. Like, it just won't make sense. So we just want to get honest with where we are now and know that that is okay. The place that you're in now is literally perfect. And that skill of being okay with where you are while you have a desire for something more, that is the skill of manifestation, because we don't actually ever get there. Because as we get closer, like as we're getting close to Florida, we're like, oh, you know what? I also want to experience Dallas. So you go through Florida, you experience some things, and then you're on your way to Dallas, and there's always a part that you haven't reached yet. So it's about being okay in the journey, not just okay in the journey, but being grateful in the journey, about embracing the journey and knowing that that's where the gifts are, not at the destination. It's who we become in the process. So we need that process to become. So I'm going to leave it at that. And thank you so much.